Happy March, everybody! I'm Rebecca, and today I'm going to do my February wrap-up. Woohoo! February wrap-up! I did better than last month. I actually made it through 7 books over the course of February, which is great because February is the shortest month, and so far I have already increased my reading amount since January. So I feel like I'm pretty proud of myself for hitting 7 books. So I did 6 total books and then 6 physical books and 1 audiobook. So we're going to start at the beginning of the month and keep on going through. To start out with, as we know, in January I read Red Rising. So in February I picked up the sequel, which is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. I loved this book, and the ending made me incredibly mad, and I'm not going to tell you too much about it just because if you haven't read Red Rising, it kind of will spoil it for you. So if you want my full thoughts on this, I did film a rant on this because I was so upset at how the ending left me hanging, so you can just go check that out over, I'll post a link to that video down in the description below. The second book I read this month was The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin, and this book basically follows the story of A.J. Fikry, who is a kind of a grumpy bookseller in this small island town, and he gets a mysterious package left on his doorstep, or in the bookstep, I guess is more accurate, and it kind of changes his life. And this tells the story of his life from kind of that area right then all the way up until the very end. So I love that it included like literature references and things like that because he does work in a bookshop. But I didn't absolutely love the story. I had a few problems with it, but you can check out my Goodreads review. I'll also post a link down to that in the below section. After I finished Storied Life, I picked up Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars out of 5 on Goodreads, and I just loved it. It's a story of a kind of post-apocalyptic, well, it's pre, during, and post-apocalyptic, but it's not a zombie story, which I loved. It's more of a plague kind of hits the world pandemic. It's a pandemic, and it kind of knocks out 99% of the world's population, and then this is kind of what's left over. It's really interesting. It has a non-linear timeline. It's told from various points of view and the intersecting characters and narratives, and I loved it, and you should read this book. Go now, read it. Following that, I picked up The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman for my Year of Gaiman project that I'm doing. This was my February pick. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I did a full review of this already, so if you want to hear my thoughts, just check out that video. I'll post a link again down in the description, but just know that I loved it. The next book I read was The Testing by Joelle Charbonneau, and this one is very, very similar to The Hunger Games, and by very similar, I mean like it felt like a ripoff to me, and I mean, I could very easily compare, oh, okay, so you live in colonies districts. Your friend, Thomas, aka PETA, who's been in love with you for forever, and you have to go into this, like, testing, aka the Hunger Games. I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I did really enjoy the story. I was wrapped up into it. I wanted to know what was going to happen, but because it was so reminiscent of The Hunger Games, I only gave it 2 stars. But I am going to read the following 2 books in the trilogy and hope that they kind of will go off of that storyline and they'll kind of be different and their own. And so I'm really excited about that. Like I said, I really did enjoy the story. I enjoyed the characters. If you liked The Hunger Games, you'll like this book, but I was just put off a little bit by the fact that it was very like, oh, okay, and this is this part of the Hunger Games, and this is this part of the Hunger Games, and that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. The next book I finished was an audiobook, and this was Neil Patrick Harris's Choose Your Own Autobiography. I love Neil Patrick Harris. I think he's hilarious, and I think he's very classy in a way, and so I really enjoyed listening to his audiobook. He narrated it himself, and the whole premise of his audiobook, or his memoir, I guess, not just the audiobook, is that it's based off of the stories that you read when you're a kid, the Choose Your Own Adventure stories, which if you haven't read those, like, you should go read them because they're really fun. So what you do is, in those stories, is you're reading the book, and at the end of the page it says, if you want to go and do this, go to this page. If you want to do this choice instead, go to this page. And so you're kind of creating your very own story based on your choices. So he kind of does that a little bit, and for the audiobook you lose a little bit of it just because you have to listen to it in chronological order. You can't really like flip through the pages like you can in actual books. I think some of that probably got lost in the fact that it was translated for audio, but it was still really fun. Like at the end, he's like, if you want to hear more about magic, then, wait a little while. But if you want to hear about my story about Elton John, it's coming up next. And things like that. And it was really kind of fun. And it tells his life and what happened. And I just really, really, really enjoyed it. He's funny. And he's got magic tricks in the middle of it that you can listen to. He includes a PDF of like recipes for drinks and bolognese and magic tricks. I mean, it's got magic in it. It's really cool. So if you like Neil Patrick Harris, then I definitely recommend picking it up. And finally, the very last book that I read in the month of February was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, which I enjoyed on a lot of levels. Some things I did not particularly enjoy. It's basically the story of this girl, Mare, who lives in a dystopian, futuristic world where there are red bloods and silver bloods, and the silver bloods are kind of like the elite people. They have powers. They're like the kings and the royals and the just the higher level people. And then you have the reds, and the reds are like the slaves and the soldiers and the people who toil away and are discriminated against and kind of like spit upon. Well, obviously Mare is a red, and just like in any dystopian, she wants to fight against the silvers and rise above and blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, somehow she kind of gets infiltrated into the silvers a little bit, and kind of her story jumps off from there. So, on the surface, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, but I did have some issues with the world building. I didn't feel like it was fully there, and there were a lot of similarities to other books that I've read. I'm not going to say which ones because I don't want to spoil it for you if you are excited about reading this book. And I know people who read a lot of YA have been comparing it to even more books, but I haven't read as much YA recently, so I'm trying to kind of catch up onto that, so I can't make as many comparisons, but I was still able to make a decent amount of them. So, but I feel like, okay, it wasn't as bad as the testing, so I kind of was able to overlook it because it did incorporate a lot of different ones as opposed to kind of one major one, again, from what I've read. But I didn't feel like there were some things that were really fleshed out as a whole, but I did really enjoy it. It kept me on my toes. There are a lot of twists and turns. The characterization's really great. That I did really enjoy it, even if I did have some issues. So I will be reading the final 2 books in this, or I guess there's 3, the next books that go along with this when they come out. I'm excited about them because I did really like it. Like I said, I just didn't absolutely love it like some people do. But I still gave it 4 stars, so if you're interested, I definitely recommend checking it out. So that's it for the month of February. Those are the books that I have gotten through. For March, I hope to get through more. Hopefully we'll keep this train rolling and keep on increasing my numbers, but we will see. So let me know if you read any of these books this month, what you thought about them, or just what else you read this month, if you have any suggestions for the upcoming month. And that's it for me. I'll see you next time.